We are back for another week. I am one of your co-hosts, Specialist Garrett Dacko with 11th Signal Brigade.
And I'm one of your other co-hosts, Eric Franklin with the Fort Hood Public Affairs Office.
And I am your final co-host, Samantha Harms with the Garrison Public Affairs Office. And you are listening to Fort Hood's
Great Big Podcast. Hey, welcome back. This is Eric Franklin, and today we don't want to say we have an old friend, but it's an old friend of mine. We have one of my former coworkers, and she works for one of the coolest school districts in the area. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hey, Eric, I'm Taina Maya from Killeen ISD. Of course, we're not only the coolest, but we are the greatest school district, I would say, in Central Texas.
Hey.
We have 54 campuses. People don't realize how large we are. So we're huge. We have 44,000 kids, and it's my pleasure every day to be able to serve at the office and support our principals, our leaders, superintendent, and then provide all the information. So I'm the go-to person for everything KISD.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
So, first off, we know school is getting ready to start in less than 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
I'm
crazy.
excited for it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, when kids come back, it is like the feeling of joy for us. And we're kind of bored. Not bored, but we're kind of just like, okay, but where are the kids?
Almost
Where
kind
are
of
the
like
kids?
your Christmas, like
Yes,
coming back to school.
It is. And for parents also. I'm a mom,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like it's a Christmas in itself as well.
Yeah. Well, my son he's counting down the days. He's just like, oh, we have 28 days left to go back to school. 20 every day. He knows the exact day down to the minute. It's like, oh, I got to get ready for school.
Those are the kids we love.
Yeah, but it's a great thing. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with KISD this year.
It's been a really busy year. I think a lot of people, of course, safety is on the forefront of everyone's mind. I'm a parent myself. It's just something that we're all talking about after the tragic events in Uvalde. And so we've really taken a closer look at what we do as a district, shoring up, making sure that everything is being done, all the way with intent. And we realized we actually have a really great safety and a strong, proactive school safety plan already in place.
That's incredible.
The governor pushed down some new mandates, and a lot of those items were already happening in our campus. And we've then looked and said, how can we go one step more? And that's kind of been what we've been doing this summer. So hardening up our facilities, whether that is including those door numbers on the very bottom of our windows for exterior windows. Mm-hmm. We had already been in the process of getting a second K-9 officer. So we will now have a drugs detection and a weapons detection K-9 officer. So 2 K-9 on our fleet. And we also have our own police department. So we have that relationship built, which is, to me, the most important thing that kids need to know is that strong connection they can have with the law enforcement officer, those familiar faces. These officers are in their lives daily, and they already have that connection of talking to those kids. And that's the first thing we need is the communication from everybody, but more so right at that campus level. And so I feel like we've got really already significant improvements to buildings, to that relationship of our, different students and student bodies, and to our parents.
Okay. And, you mentioned that you guys were getting another K-9 officer. I can't wait till you have them so I can go out and I can see the dog. I know I can't pet him, but I know that they're going to be...
His name is Jerry. I haven't even met him yet.
I can't wait.
I haven't met him, but I'm really excited to meet him. So he's in his last week of training. He should be here, I'm told, probably tomorrow. So he's going to come. He's starting the first day of school, and it's his first day of work. So it's going to be a double whammy for them
That
up
is
there.
so cute.
That is cute. What dog people over here? Just
so much.
Okay, I have to ask because, you see this a lot with people like posting their photos of the dogs in the yearbook. Is this a thing you guys do? Will you be putting a photo of the dog in the yearbook?
We have done that before.
I
So
love that.
it just depends what campus. So sometimes since they don't belong to a certain campus,
Right.
we typically submit a photo. I don't think they've taken their department picture yet. I'll double check. Maybe they can retake it because we give it
so
to the
cute.
campuses.
Yes.
I
yes.
love that.
That's pretty cool. So you mentioned that you guys have 54 campuses, correct?
It's 52, actually. 52 campuses. Sorry, that was my bad.
So with Killeen and Fort Hood, this is kind of a unique situation because not every military base has schools on post. How does that work out for you? How does that partnership work?
I'm told that happened long before any of us were here. In fact, we are probably one of the most unique ones. A lot of times those are run by DODEA. And for Killeen ISD to operate, we actually lease the buildings from Fort Hood, from the federal government. So those are contracts. That's why we really don't have the ability to go and do certain beautification projects or to, allow people to park in certain areas near our campus, because that's not our land. So this is a lease agreement. They're 99-year leases. We abide by your rules. You let us educate the children. We really work hand in hand. And most of all, I think it's so cool because the partnerships we have, those adopt-a-school units, our parents who are involved, and we have such strong partnerships. Our MFLACs, our SLOs, school behavior health available on our campuses on Post. So the amount of resources, we are resource rich on our campuses here on Post.
Okay. And with that, you said a couple of acronyms. What is I think you said a SLO?
That is a school liaison officer.
Okay.
And so we have an incredible team. These are people who literally are here for our transitioning families. They are here to make sure life works, life continues to work, that their families needs are met. If they had services before where they were stationed and PCS here, SLOs are like your best resource, and they are our best resource. So they're kind of the way we can go back and say, we had someone transition from, PCS in, and we offered that program, and they'll help find that interstate compact to make sure we find that matching class for the student, or that they still get the credit. Or if something doesn't line up with their graduation, we can make all of that work. They're the magic workers. I can't give them Liz Davenport, Teresa Jones, those two ladies. There's a whole crew of them, but I can't give them enough kudos.
Yeah, they're actually going to be our secondary interview for this podcast. So we'll
shout out to Terry.
Hearing Terry shortly.
So, and also, I think you mentioned before you were talking about how over the next couple of weeks, next couple of days, you guys are going to start testing your bus routes and the crosswalk signs. Tell us a little bit about that.
I can't stress enough, it's been great being able to drive every which way, but we need parents, we need people, we need just the community to know that our buses are about to be back in action and rolling. So starting on Monday, they will be actually rolling through their routes. They will slow down, they'll flash their yellows, not their reds. So they won't be requiring people to stop until students come back.
Okay.
But take that mental snapshot, look at where you are, understand that you're in a school zone. We have this signs up, but if you just PCS'd in, you might not be familiar with that being a school zone. And we need you guys to drop that speed limit ASAP, put the phone down, turn the music down, because sometimes kids, let me tell you, I've seen them, they're yelling back and forth to their friends from one side of the street to the other, and then the child walks and doesn't look. We need our community to be looking out for those things. So just being hyper vigilant. On the 15th, of course, our kids go back to school. That's go day. Yeah. That's the day you need to know what's happening. And we have all of our schools, and you'll see that those lights will be flashing, and just take extra time. Our bus drivers are a little bit more lenient, so they might be stopped at a stop sign, letting those kids know that they're there so they don't miss the bus.
Yeah.
So they sometimes like, this bus still hasn't moved and they have their stop sign still. And I'm like, yeah, it's because they're waiting for the kids. It's only day 2. And the kids are still rushing to get out there. So just know that we are out there. Be aware of that. Take that mental snapshot. See what we can do. And if you ever see something, people report things to us all the time. We have tip lines. If you see someone speeding through, let us know. You can call transportation very easily. We will absolutely make sure that we follow up on that. We're really vigilant in ensuring that we continue to investigate. We have cameras on all of our buses, and you'll be surprised. We come after, and we partner with our different law enforcement agencies to say, hey, this person passed a red stop sign on the first or second or third day of school.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
See, I didn't know about those cameras. Not saying that I've ever done that.
I think your name was on the list.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I do that, but I didn't know that we had
plate.
cameras on them.
Smart, yeah.
So just I think lastly, what else is going on? I know there's new schools. I have a new school coming up in my backyard, literally around the corner from my house. What other new topics? I think you said you also got an app coming out this week.
Well, I got a few things. So today is actually our high school dedication for Chaparral High School. So it's tonight at 6 o'clock. Tonight at 6 o'clock. That's really exciting. That's anyone and everyone's invited for the community to come tour the campus.
Hold on real quick. Will there be cake?
There will be cake pops and
that works.
Cookies.
That works.
Eric has this thing with cake.
a
Anytime you
lot
can
of
get
people
cake.
have that thing.
But specifically for him, as long as it's before 10 a.m.
That's a
the
news
sweet
thing.
spot.
That's a news thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just, you got to
I
have
love it.
So we have free swag we're giving out. You can be able to tour the campus, see our black box. We have a mock trial room in there.
Fun.
I mean, there are some really incredible features that I wish were around when I
I was going to say, can I go back to school?
You can. Hey, we're hiring. I just want to put our shameless plug out there. You can absolutely go back. And on top of that, we have our mobile app, which everyone, even if you aren't a parent, should download. Just get active in the community. It's really easy. Search Killeen ISD in your Google or Apple store. This will give you everything if you're a parent, from lunch balances, attendance, grades, missing assignments. If your child is an avid library book reader and maybe forgets to turn those books back in,
Which
we
happens.
will even show you a picture of what the book looks like on your child's profile so that you can go in their room and look for that book and help them return it very quickly, hopefully. But it's also got us calendars. So you can see your child's calendar, follow certain campuses. So you guys might just want to follow on post campuses.
Right.
And then if there's ever a push notification or a mass communication that I have to send out, you would also receive that if you're subscribed to a campus. So that's a really neat feature that we have that I think people don't realize is being built out. So please, it's only been live for a few days now. Go on there, Killeen ISD. You will love it, I promise you. And it's just something to have in your back pocket to see what's the latest.
Okay.
Secondly, I got to throw out to Killeen Kangaroos. Their renovations are almost complete, so we'll have a dedication. Coming up in January for them. So they have a $99 million renovation.
Ooh, wow.
It's almost a completely new campus, and it's spectacular.
Killeen, that is the oldest high school
It is.
in Killeen, I believe it was.
If you drove by it now, you wouldn't think that. I mean, it's
Now
it
I
is.
have to go on that side of town.
You haven't been there?
The last time I went, I did a story there when I was working in the news, but I will go out the airfield gate tonight and
All
go
right.
over there.
Okay, I'm gonna expect a little text comment from you. You better text me, let me know.
I have it. I will do it.
And something parents don't know, if you're new, Killeen ISD used to let all of our kids leave for lunch. And that's something that we've now closed. And so it's only for seniors who get their college, career, military readiness indicator and parents' permission can leave campus for lunch. Otherwise, now everyone is going to be eating lunch in the cafeteria or throughout the campus. There's extra seating. We've redone all the courtyards to provide it. But that's new, and that's something that a lot of students, feel strongly about. But it's a safety issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to be having a child cross Clear Creek or
Definitely
cross some of
not.
these main streets that we have that just to go get lunch back and forth. So, but there's so much going on. I would just, pick up our back to school guide. We have so much information. Our website is just chock full of things happening. Follow us on social. That's my favorite place to really put out positive news, because not always does that get picked up by local media.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that we're pushing positive. So, join us in that conversation. And I always tell people we're a phone call away. You can DM us, we'll respond. It's me and two other people that are right there. So we're hands-on and being really responsive.
Awesome.
As a parent, that's what I want for my district, for my child.
Yeah.
So why not give it to everybody else?
That works for me. I think that's it. I think we got to get ready for our next interview. They're coming in. They were running a little bit behind, so we were gonna have a bunch of people in here. But today we said, nope. You know what? Let's break it up.
It's a busy day.
It is a busy day.
Busy day.
So just stay tuned, and we'll have more coming up. We like to thank you again for coming out and spending some time with us and telling us about the cool things. And make sure. I think the biggest takeaway for me was I got to make sure when I'm around the school bus, I got to pay attention because there's cameras on there.
Please
They're watching.
do. Please
There's someone
do.
watching.
Slow down.
Thank you guys both for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
Your Army Digital Garrison app is a great way to explore your community. With expanded features, including access to an app library, MWR Travel Services, and American Forces Travel, the Digital Garrison provides direct access to installation-specific news, information, and alerts. Find local dining options and events. Browse great shopping deals at your Exchange, Express, and ShopMyExchange.com, and the Commissary. Search for Digital Garrison in the App Store to connect with your installation and community. Powered by the United States Army and your Exchange.
And welcome back. I told you earlier we had some other interview guests coming in because they had some other stuff to catch up on. And we have our returning co-host here. What's been going on?
Traffic.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, right down the road.
From across the street, though?
Yeah, people not being safe.
Oh.
Yeah, see what I did there?
I did. Speaking of safety, we also have someone from our Garrison Safety team. And could you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Huddleston. I'm Garrison Safety Director. It's great to be here, and I appreciate being here.
And who else do we have in the room with us today?
Hi, my name is Terry Jones. I'm a school liaison officer for Child and Youth Services here on Fort Hood.
And so we have school that's getting ready to start back up in less than, my son told me last night, he said in less than 14 days, he has to go back to school. So tell us a little bit about what you guys over in the SLO, did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
The SLO and in safety are doing to get everybody ready to go back to school.
So in our office, we are in processing a lot of new families to the area. When families who have already been here come in, they usually have questions about school. It may be their child's first year, or it could be that they switch schools because of a move. And so we direct them on how to look up where their house is zoned for and what campus their children would go to school. They also talk to us about wanting a transfer if they want their kids to attend school on post.
Okay.
Here on Fort Hood, then there is a process that they go through in order to accomplish that.
And we spoke with, before you guys came in, you might have passed them in the hallway, but we spoke with someone from the Killeen Independent School District, and they said that they have 4 or 5 schools on post, and it's a big, what's the big word? It's a big melting pot. It's I don't want to say that word. It's a collaborative effort to for both campuses for Fort Hood to work with KISD and the other school districts in the area.
Yes, that's correct. There are 5 elementary schools here on Fort Hood, 1 middle school, and also an early college high school. And so we help those parents that are living here navigate the whole system, to understand how registration works, to figure out if they have a special education child who they need to contact for some assistance or support resources in those areas. And so we do a lot of just assistance and navigation, making sure parents have a good idea of who they can call if they need assistance and where to go. And so we usually do say, come to the SLO first, and we'll kind of point you in the right direction because we work with it every day. We partner a lot with EFMP as well for special needs families, and so that is also a huge assistance for them.
Okay. And so now we have we'll move on to safety real quick. Tell us a little bit about how safety is about to start ramping up for all of our young students and kiddos going back to school here in the next couple of weeks.
Well, some main considerations that you need to think about. I kind of break it down. If you think about it, you're thinking about it as a parent, and then you're thinking about it as a parent with children. So one of the things that our traffic safety course kind of looks at, if you will, obviously distracted driving, some of the normal things we think about. But how many times are we driving down the road where you don't even have a cell phone in our hand, but we're hands-free and we're thinking about something? Well, unfortunately, we come down to this period of time, we're not used to really paying attention to school zones. So we need to kind of, I think, as a collective group, whether you're a young adult or older adult, start focusing on school zone safety. One clue that kind of clues you in, possibly the big yellow school buses. But if that's not catching your attention, those flashing lights that you see while you're driving down the road, say you're nowhere near a school zone, but just remember, children have to be picked up somewhere. In some of our central Texas areas, it could be on a farm-to-market road. If you're in the city of Killeen, maybe a busy street, but it may say bus stop. There's signage along these highways or farm-to-markets, but you could miss that. If you miss that, you're missing an opportunity to understand these children have to be picked up. So if children are not taught, and this is the second component, if you're a parent, when you get your children get up to an area where they're going to be picked up at the school, have an assembly area, be traffic wise, always attend small children, but we don't want children coming out in the roadway, whether it's a busy city street or a farm to market road, which we have quite a few of. But you should really kind of talk to your children about making sure they know how to get on the bus, supervise them. If they're older children, you should have taught them or should be teaching them, reminding them. What we don't want, and unfortunately in some cases you see where a child crosses in front of a bus or the opposite side of the street. This is the most dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're approaching a hill, you see a sign for a bus stop. Just be aware of that. If you're in a busy city, it's going to be really busy. And also, don't be distracted. Pay attention to the road, look at the signage, and just be careful. Look out for little kids out there.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you a quick story. Growing up, I used to live off of Clear Creek Road, right there where Black Hawk Gate is, and before it was when it was just a single road, 2-lane road. So this was dating myself, but it was a 2-lane road, and we used to have to go walk, and we used to get picked up. The bus stop was right there, and young Eric thought he was invincible and ran across the street, and I got hit by a car. I didn't get hurt, but it was the worst feeling of my life, and that was my ninth grade year. I didn't live that down. Like, people kept making fun of me. Probably I was 22 years old when I came back. I joined the Army and came back, and people who I went to high school with was still making fun of me. It's funny, but I learned a valuable lesson that day, that getting hit by a car is not what you want. Even when I walk into the parking lots here, I'm always looking both ways because I don't want to get hit by a car again. Like, it was that ingrained, and I wish I would have had that. What's the word? That understanding, that healthy respect for cars before then. But speaking of buses, though, still, we spoke with KISD, and they said that they're going to be running their routes here starting, I believe it's this week. They're going to start running their routes without their lights on, just to get people back, who may be new here. And that goes back to you, where you have a lot of people who are just now getting to Fort Hood during this high PCS season.
Right. And so they have to be aware as well of where the school safety zones are with the flashing lights, and also watching and monitoring their speed limits and all of that. They just need to slow down a minute and make sure that, if you do have kiddos, think about your own child. If you don't have children yet, be even more aware of children, making movements into the road or trying to cross a street and that kind of thing.
No one wants to hit a young Eric.
Yeah, no.
Don't be that person.
That was the worst feeling of I thought I was hurt, but I wasn't. I was more ashamed, and I was more like, oh man, I felt so bad because everyone's going to laugh at me. They had to call it was just a big old deal, but it was my fault. Like, it was totally my fault looking back at it. So with the SLOs, you guys are kind of like the I don't want to say the know-it-alls in a bad way, but you know it all. Like, if it's dealing with new families and kids and education, you're it.
Yes, well, thank you for the compliment. We try really hard to ensure that our families can get off to a good start with school. A lot of times parents will ask for advice on some of the things that they could do in order to make it a smooth school year. And so, we encourage them to get their kids and themselves into not a back to school schedule, not a summer schedule anymore. And the sooner you can get your kiddos into that new routine, the better they're going to acclimate themselves to going to school and making sure that they are alert at their classes and getting the information that they need and, participating in the classes and a lot of that. Meet the Teacher is going to be August 11th. And so for elementary schools, that starts at 5 p.m. and goes until 7. And for the middle schools, it begins at 5:30 and goes until 7:30. And the high schools will have an open house in September. So they kind of wait for the older kids or older students to kind of get into their schedules and see if it's going to work, so that the parents are seeing the correct instructors for that time if they want to discuss anything. Something else I think is important to stress is that parents, you guys get involved with your school. Make sure you meet the teacher and have a positive rapport with him or her to start off the school year. That's always a great way to find out what's going on in the classroom, what to expect, and what the teacher's expectations are in the classroom as well. So, and then you can kind of reestablish all that with your child, and you'll know what's going on, and you don't have to depend on your child to tell you what the classroom rules are or how often they can go to the restroom and those kinds of things. So,
well, I know my son, he likes to he tells me what goes on in class. Sometimes he has to help me with his math homework. I'm like, okay, you're right, but are you sure it's right? He's like, Dad, I'm telling you, I got the book in my bag. I can show you. So, but I think it's always good for kids and parents to have that understanding, to know. So I'm not relying on the kids, or I don't like, well, what did they say about, you said the bathroom policy. I know my son, he doesn't go to the bathroom. So I'm like, are you getting enough times to go to the bathroom? It's like, yeah, I just don't want to go to the bathroom. It's like, I don't want to miss education. His words, not mine.
Wow.
I've like, it's impressive to me, because I'm like, I'm going to the bathroom at least every hour. But so just, and then I think really last thing that I had, the only last questions, and then I'll be quiet. For safety, it's a new thing. I don't think there's any new traffic signals or traffic patterns that anyone has to work out or watch out for on post, or is there?
Well, not so much signaling, but there's a flow to every school zone, which is very important. Now, if you consider 10 different schools, for example, at any given location, they're all going to have a different pattern flow. So they tend to use signage. However, obviously, those 20 mile per hour or lower, that's there for a reason. Again, we as adults, we get distracted, or we have things on our mind. Again, we're not really holding a cell phone or talking or anything, but we're thinking. And if you find yourself doing that, just remember, it's important to notice lights. Sometimes we just see right through situations, but we also have crossing guards. So let's try this if you can, and you can do it as a family, and even with your children, if you have children. Think about a plan to get in a mindset. As she was talking about, get in the mindset early of thinking about these lights going off, these traffic flows. There's a lot of information for the listeners on Texas Department of Public Safety.
Okay.
On school zones. There's just so many resources, but just remember, if you have to obey the traffic lights, you have to watch where there's school zones. That's most important. There is actually a billboard on, 14. I knew it as Highway 190 out here.
Yeah.
It's our major highway that goes in front of Fort Hood. And it mentions, in effect, you can't send a person to a body shop to repair them. And it goes back to what you were saying as a young child. If you think about things in the terms of, our actions have consequences, then you start to develop a little bit better understanding. Just slow down, be observant, be extra careful when you're getting close to a known school zone. If you're in a new area, you may not know, for example, but if you're tasked with dropping your grandchildren off at a school that you're not used to, but become familiar with these traffic flows. There are very specific traffic flows. There could be children unattended, so it's something to be aware of. Yep.
All right. Well, back to the just the overall going back to school. When I was younger, I always had trouble getting out of that summer mindset.
Oh, yes.
That was the hardest. I love sleeping in, going out and playing with friends in the mud and running around. Oh, it was always tough. So let's say I'm a new soldier coming to Fort Hood, and I have some kids that are going to school. Where can I find the school liaison office to kind of get oriented?
So our offices are located in the Shoemaker Center. It's on Shoemaker Lane. The building number is 36,000. If you come in that main entrance, there's an information table on the right, a coffee shop on the left, and if you just go to the left, just the other side of that coffee shop is our office. We're in Suite 101, and we are excited and happy to see any of our parents and help them.
All right. And what's your favorite drink from that coffee shop so they can bring you one when they come in?
I would have to say probably just a bottle of water.
All right.
Hey,
you
that's
heard
even
it
better.
here.
That's even healthier.
Trying to stay healthy.
Yeah. Are we all? Got to get out of that summer bod,
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
And what is your phone number if they're behind or if they just want to call in real quick?
Sure. So our phone number is 254-288-7946. And then we also have another line. It's 254-553-3340. And we look forward to assisting any parents that give us a call. We're happy to help out.
Okay. And if someone wants to get a hold of the Garrison Safety, how can we reach out or where can we find? Do you have a fake Garrison Facebook page for safety?
We do.
Uh-oh.
So we're on the Hood website, the Fort Hood website. Our main number you can contact us on is 287-3323. So if you have any questions, we do have some resources online. We have driver safety. We have some other safety-related items under the Garrison Safety Office banner or tab, if you will.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, that's all I have. Is there any last thing y'all would like to add?
Anything coming up with the SLOs or with Garrison Safety Office?
Well, we're in the hot months. So, and that's, for those listeners, they should be aware, but we're in a severe drought, very hot. We in Garrison Safety, we kind of I put out at our directors' meetings and other meetings, water, rest, shade. Same for your children, since we're on that topic. Just make sure they're being hydrated. Be cognizant. They may have to stand out if they're getting picked up in the evening, whatever. It's hot. And don't forget sunscreen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to throw in that CYS, or Child and Youth Services, also has a Facebook page. We do post happenings on there regularly. So go ahead and like us and look us up and kind of catch up on what events are coming up.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right. Well, we want to thank you both for coming in today. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, Fort Hood community. This is Major Winkleman from Force Protection. Just reminding everybody that August is Anti-Terrorism Awareness Month. We have lots of classes available to the community. We'll be on Teams as well as the House Theater. Please contact your ATOs. We're welcome everybody to listen, observe, and have a good time. Please join us, enjoy, and we're looking forward to seeing you there.
Man, that's a lot of information,
A lot.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was only there for half of it.
You were.
My goodness.
I know. You missed out on a lot.
I
You did.
wish I was there for the other one.
But
that
that's
sounded
okay.
so good.
It was. It was really fun.
Man.
Darn traffic.
Yeah. Well, you got to be safe out there. I'll tell
That's
you what.
true.
School's starting
We
up.
do.
And we just talked about it.
We did. We
Yeah.
spent the whole episode talking about it.
Did you have your World Guard vest on? Your PT belt?
No, I
Oh.
didn't. That's yeah.
For shame.
I know.
For shame.
It was in the middle of the day though. Still though,
Still,
you gotta be careful.
Can
Yeah.
never be too safe.
you can never be overly safe.
You know
Nope.
you're gonna find some parents now putting safety vests on their
Exactly.
I hope so. That's a look.
That's a
right.
look.
Hey, it's better than the backpack leashes.
Yeah.
I know that when I have kids, that's going to be me for sure. My kids are going to
No.
be crazy. I have
Oh.
this
I just
feeling.
wanna be free.
Yeah.
Get back here, yank.
Pretty
them back.
much. Yeah.
going
picture that now.
into the store, going shopping, and just having that leash on the back. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of shopping,
Oh.
Ooh.
yeah.
Money?
This
Love
weekend
shopping.
is back to school tax-free weekend.
Oh man. So that means I can save a little bit of money on. So is it a difference if I'm on post, shopping on post or off post?
So get this: if you're shopping off post, they cut the tax.
Okay.
If you're shopping on post, since there's already no tax,
Okay.
they give you an extra discount.
Oh
You get
man.
an extra 8.25% discount on eligible items.
So that means all my school supplies, I need to come on post to get them.
That's right.
You just might have
We
to.
might need to have to come do
Yeah.
that.
Hey, speaking of school,
Yeah.
they also have a homeschool parent meeting on August 26th, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. at the Bronco Youth Center. They'll be discussing upcoming events, field trips, homeschool activities, and homeschool requirements.
I think I might have to
Homeschooling
go
your
to that
kids.
just because growing up, we had a couple of kids on our block who were homeschooled, but they were kind of like standoffish, so we didn't really hang out with them. But I just think being able to know that that's a choice. It's I would do it if I could, but I think it's a choice, and I think I want to go just to see what it's all about and what information I can get to make that decision for my two kids.
So, you know what else the library offers every month? They have a homeschool meeting, like get together for people who are homeschooled so that they can hang out with other kids who are also homeschooled.
little social
in the
hour.
library. Yeah, a little homeschool social hour.
Oh, that's pretty
There
cool.
you go.
I like it.
Yeah, speaking of social hour,
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I have 2 events coming up.
What?
I know.
We
There's
only have
so
one.
much
Come on.
happening.
Yeah, there's
I
so much
know.
happening in the
I
next
beat
couple of
you.
weeks.
Okay, so this weekend, the USO on Fort Hood is having their birthday. They're turning 21 years old here at Fort Hood.
Wow,
Very
so old.
exciting. And so they're throwing themselves a birthday party. And they're mixing it together with their back to school events that they always do. So it's a back to school birthday bash. It's going to be on Saturday, August 6th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. They're going to have music and food and snow cones and popcorn and iced tea and lemonade and so much more because of course they will. They're going to
Exactly.
They're going to have games for kids to play and you can get some prizes. The kids can get some prizes for their
Oh,
games.
just the kids?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. I'm
that's
so sorry.
not fair.
And you can also get a backpack. Your kids can get a backpack.
Ah.
Not you. Sorry.
You keep
I know.
hyping me up. I'm like,
I know.
I'm looking
but
forward
you
to
can
all this
get
stuff.
cupcakes and popcorn and iced tea and lemonade
I'm
and
gonna go make
Goodies.
myself an Arnold
yeah,
Palmer.
get some
Yeah.
goodies. Oh, there you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Even better.
That's so
Insane.
great. I love that. And then Fort Hood Family Housing is having a back to school bash. That's going to be next week, Friday, August 12th. It's going to be at, for people who live at Fort Hood, it's going to be at your community office. It'll be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They'll have water activities and the chances to win backpacks with some supplies in it
Cool.
and snacks and just, a bunch of things to do.
All right.
Outstanding.
Celebrating everybody going back to school.
That's one last hurrah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
One
to.
last hurrah.
Do you think the celebrations are for the kids or for the parents who are
It's a
getting
little
rid
of
of their
both.
kids?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah?
it's a little of both.
Okay.
We're not getting rid of our kids. We're just getting them out of the house during
Yeah.
the day and having them not be our problem.
You sound very excited.
I am a little bit. I can agree that having all my food when I go grocery shopping and 2 days later all the food is gone. I was like, I kind of understand.
Well, you got to buy healthy food because
Then they'll never eat it.
No, they eat it.
Oh.
They eat it. So my son Aiden, he does not like candy.
what?
Only candy that he eats is milkshakes and maybe a cookie. But other than that, it's always fruit. And I was just like, man, why can't I just eat cookies? He's just like, nope, I would rather have some grapes, sir. And I'm like, all right, Aiden, no
Can't
problem.
relate.
Yeah, I was gonna say cookies all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cookies and milkshakes for sure.
Yeah, so it's
Oh,
it's
cookie
super weird.
milkshake.
Oh, even
Yeah, now we're
better.
talking.
I know what I'm getting when I leave here today.
Well, before you leave, you got to stick around because
It's
booking
time.
movie
Yeah, it is.
of the month. This
Yeah,
month.
it is.
And Blair's back. Blair again.
Blair again.
Blair
again.
is back again.
So I know, and this is going to disappoint all of our listeners.
yeah.
But I do have somewhere to be, so
all
I'm going
your
to miss booking
fans.
movie of the month.
Bummer.
I know. But
Yeah.
I will be back next month
Next
for
month,
next
yes.
month's booking movie.
Well, it's going to be a good one. So for those listeners, stick around.
Well, I'll have to.
Sorry for you.
Yeah, I'll have to catch it on the podcast.
You will. You'll have to listen to yourself.
That'll be a first.
All right. That's all we got for this segment. So, yeah.
Deuces.
This podcast is a U.S. Army Garrison Fort Hood and Fort Hood Public Affairs production. The show's theme music is written and produced by Delicious All-Stars. All our music is obtained through Filter by Songtrader. Have a question or want to share some insights with us? Email us at forthoodpao@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at USAG Fort Hood. And as always, be sure to leave a review and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
We want to let you know that there are no spoilers for either the book or movie of the month. So please enjoy the segment. Hello and welcome back. It's time for book and movie of the month. Of the month.
I was about to do it.
I had to do it because obviously, like Daco just said, he is not on book and movie of the month with us this month. I know, had to run, so that's okay. The life of public affairs.
I know, right?
All right. So this is just like a bummer part of this episode.
Bummer.
I don't know. Apparently there's something going in the water because I did not write my book column last month.
Yeah, you didn't.
I know. I just decided to skip it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
A lot's been going on.
It has been.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I won't have any books for this month. I will have books for next month. They're going to be great. Both books are so good. So looking forward to that. But you have movies.
Yes.
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 All right.
So
What movies do we listen to? Or listen
Listen
to?
to.
What movies? I mean, technically you listen. What
Yeah,
movies did
technically.
you watch this month? Jeez.
Yeah. So we saw Minions: The Rise of Gru
Mhm.
and Where the Crawdads Sing,
Oh,
which
great.
you came along with
I
us.
did. Yes. So let's talk about Minions first, since I did not see that.
Okay.
And then we can get into Where the Crawdads Sing.
So Minions, it was cute, and I like the Despicable Me movies. So
Okay.
we enjoy watching the little tater tots run around.
That's a good way to describe that.
Yes, they
Yeah.
look just like tater
Me
tots.
too.
They
This movie actually started a trend on TikTok where people would show up to movie theaters all dressed in suits.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
What is up with that? Why?
I don't know. Just so they all look like each other, kind of like the Minions do.
Like the Minions.
That's what I got out of it.
I could see that.
I didn't do any in-depth research on this, but that was kind of what my brain came up with, and they would all go see the movie together, rent out like a whole row. So it's, I feel like this is the generation under ours, Gen Z. I feel like this is their like Incredibles 2. Because the first Minions movie came out several years ago.
Yeah.
And they were probably a lot younger.
Yeah.
It seems to be a lot of Gen Z age kids that were participating in this trend. Actually, in the UK, I did look this up. Some theaters, if people showed up in suits, they wouldn't allow you to watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were being like disruptive. Yeah. Like throwing
food around, screaming. Like
ruining the movie experience.
Yeah, like, and there's a point. Like, obviously, like, you need to enjoy the movie and have fun with it, but like showing up in the suits is hilarious.
Oh, absolutely.
But like then you know, interrupting other people's experience of it.
Yes. I think I can only think of one movie where you like actively can throw things. The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
That's the only movie I can think of where you show up to the theater and they're like, yeah, do what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah, get involved. But, you know, yeah, it's it was still cute. Nothing that like, and it was funny. We walked into our screen area and like the whole row that I had bought the tickets in advance, so we're dead center. And I was like, this movie's been out for weeks. There's not going to be anybody else here. No, we are like surrounded in this row by younger guys. And like there were a couple times they got maybe just slightly rowdy. They were like, like a scream would happen. You know, I was like, okay, you know, yeah, like it's just
a movie.
This isn't the next like Oscar winner or anything. Boy. Like, calm down. But you know,
that's funny. Well, was the movie good then? So.
It was cute.
Okay.
We enjoyed it. There are a few kind of like references to the original.
Okay, so definitely need to see the original. If you,
like,
some reason have gone this long and haven't seen it.
Yeah, like you should understand the premise of this film without it.
Okay,
but like part of the fun of it is like, oh, that's where, 'cause since it's a prequel,
right?
Like this is where this started and whatever.
Okay,
so that's part of it, so it helps.
Okay,
but not necessary.
Okay,
yeah, it was cute. Since it's a prequel, they added in like there's another Minion character that kind of comes to the forefront that's never mentioned. So it's like, what happened to him? You know?
Yeah.
So
are they planning on making another sequel? Like
to like the Minions or Despicable Me? Because they've like
Despicable Me. Because there's the Despicable Me 1 and 2, and then this is the
3
and 3
and 3. There's a third one.
There's a third one?
Yeah. There is a third one.
Is this including the one you just saw?
Like, okay, so there's the first.
Break it down.
There's the first Minions movie.
Okay.
And then the second Minions movie, which is what we saw.
Okay.
There's 3 Despicable Me movies, mainly surrounding Gru. And his people. So there's 3 of those. The third one has. This shouldn't be a spoiler. It came out years ago. Do you know what I'm talking about now? He discovers he has a long-lost twin brother.
Yes.
The blonde.
Yes. Yes. I forgot about that. Okay, so the Minion movie you just saw is about only... I know. It is very confusing. Right over my head.
This whole franchise.
We should start with the other movie, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, but... this Minions Rise of Gru is technically the second Minions movie. They are the title characters.
Okay.
This is a Minions movie.
I'm tracking now. Thank you for
However,
the clarification.
it is a prequel to Despicable Me.
Okay.
And all of that. So they are interlaced, but they are not the exact same thing.
Okay.
So,
I'm tracking now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's no problem.
Very confusing.
I feel bad that I can explain that.
No,
break
that's
it
good.
down.
I'm glad you could because I clearly was lost. Okay.
Well,
Tracking.
yeah.
Okay, so all of that being said, would you recommend this movie?
Yeah, to families and anyone that enjoys the Minions. Yeah,
Okay.
it was cute, and
great.
I liked it a lot.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, now that we've gotten all that confusing stuff out of the way, let's talk about Where the Crawdads Sing.
Yes.
Yes.
So critics did not take well to this at all.
Interesting.
They're like, the rating on Rotten Tomatoes is still sitting, I think it's 34%
Oh, wow.
when I looked earlier today.
What did the critics have to... Okay, so let's break down what the movie is first.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
And then we'll get
follow
into that.
Kaya,
Yes.
right? Kaya is labeled and called the Marsh Girl by people that live in town, since she lives out in the marsh by herself and prefers to be out there.
Yes.
She is put on trial and accused of murder. So basically the film starts kind of when she's accused, and then we are told her story from beginning as she's a little kid to pretty much like it eventually goes until she's much older and has lived her life. So, and obviously the events of the trial and the events leading up to the trial. So, that's basically what it is. It's hard to talk about because obviously you don't want to spoil anything.
Right.
'cause,
There's
like,
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her life story is very tragic. So, how do I say this right? There's a lot of abuse in her home.
Yes.
So if that's something that bothers you, don't
Yes, some
don't-
trigger warnings
yeah,
for
don't-
sure needed
yeah.
for this movie.
definitely don't get into that. Like it's so it was. I enjoyed it, and I didn't read the book.
Yes.
I just opened the book and stared at the page. No, yeah, I didn't read the book, but you did.
I did. I talked about it on this podcast.
Yeah, you
actually.
did.
So the book, as I said before, is beautifully written.
Mhm.
Absolutely beautiful. I enjoyed the movie for just a movie. I thought it does follow the book really closely for the most part. But knowing the full plot line of the book, the movie to me just felt really rushed a lot of the times. There was just, it seems like there's this one key moment that happens that sets off the rest of the movie. And they made it so small in the movie that it almost seemed like it was just this minute detail. Like, oh, yeah, we'll just briefly mention this. But it's like, that's the whole thing. Like, this is important. Everything she does after that is because of that moment right there.
Yeah.
So that definitely bothered me.
Yeah. And I feel like critics kind of, most of the naysayers, which obviously is a majority of them, say that, you know, it didn't live up to the book, which I feel like a lot of books that are adapted into movies, everyone that has read the book says the same thing.
Although I have heard for this movie, a lot of people, not necessarily critics, but a lot of like just regular people thought that it was almost better than the book. Like
Really?
the movie was better. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
what I've heard. And I was like, are you sure? Did you read the book? Although I will say that they, like, the way a lot of people have said that they pictured Kaya and they pictured the marsh and all of that, like, they did a beautiful job with that. It definitely lives up to that aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the details are definitely all there. What you're seeing is very accurate.
Okay. And like, maybe this is because I didn't read the book. When, you know, growing up where I grew up, when I hear, I don't say crawdads, I say crawfish, but like, I immediately thought, since they were like swamp, marsh, whatever, I was like, oh, this takes place in Louisiana.
Nope.
No, like,
Definitely not.
yeah. And then I just looked it up just to be, because I just assumed, and that's my fault, but I was like, oh, this definitely is in Louisiana.
Yeah.
1,000%. Like, near my neck of the woods, Louisiana.
Yeah.
So when I looked it up, I was like, North Carolina, are you kidding me? But like, I feel like that's like just the visuals they had in the movie. And I haven't been to North Carolina, so I don't know what their actual marsh looks like.
Yeah.
But like that was pretty marsh, and like that was on the ocean, right?
Yes.
So
that's
like,
why it looks that way. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this definitely is not the
Yes.
Gulf of Mexico
No.
or anything like that.
Definitely right there
not.
on the ocean.
But she, as a Southern woman myself, she's got that grittiness, I guess, is the only word that comes to my mind. But like I'm not gonna take anything from you.
Yes.
And this is how I am. If you don't like it, too bad.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that felt authentic to me.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're looking for a movie with like a strong, independent woman,
Yes.
this is the movie to
Yes,
see.
it is. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, because no matter who, is trying to
Yes.
change her or.
She sticks to who she is,
Yes.
which is impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ending was phenomenal. I
Oh,
live for
absolute.
the ending.
Yes.
I lived
I
for
think
that
it's
moment.
Very good.
Yeah. I mean, and like you just have to watch the film because it does a great job. And so obviously I'm on the audience side. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is like 96%.
Oh, wow.
And it's pretty much sat there since the movie's come out.
Yeah, I would
So-
definitely say that for somebody who, like, if I hadn't read the book and I didn't know all the details I knew that were missing, this movie's great for sure.
Yeah.
I think for people who have read the book, I would suggest going in maybe with, take a little grain of salt with it.
Yeah. Just like talking to you afterward, like I could, when you mentioned like, oh, this part was definitely played down.
Yes.
Like it was easy to tell.
Yeah.
At that point that they kind of, mentioned it for the sake of mention.
Yeah,
like
it seemed
just-
like sometimes they were just like, oh, we missed that in the book.
Yeah.
Let's just quick throw it in. Let's do
Yeah.
another take. We'll just add that in. It's like, wait, no, that's important.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
make
Daisy
everything.
Edgar Jones is the lead actress that
Oh.
plays Kaya.
She's so beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely crushed this.
Yeah, she was in a project with Sebastian Stan recently, so
Of
that's
course
how
you know that.
yeah, of course. So that's how I was first introduced to her.
Mm.
But yeah, she's great. So
Yeah, she did a great job in this.
yeah. And like I think she's like Irish or Scottish or something.
Oh, wow. I would have
So,
never
like,
known.
Yeah, and I'm like very, very particular about people that are doing Southern accents.
Yeah.
Just because,
Yeah.
it seems like it'd be easy to do, but it's not,
Yeah.
unless you grew up talking like I do.
Yeah.
But like, I think she did pretty good. So
Yeah, I thought she did really great.
yeah. And like, I mean, it's definitely a movie for, adults or I personally wouldn't, I wouldn't take a kid under 15.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely no
and
young
that's like
kids.
being generous. So
Yeah.
I'd just
I think a
say
mature
adults.
15-year-old.
Very,
Definitely
yeah.
mature 16-year-old and
Yeah.
above.
yeah. Like, the crowd that was at the theater that we went to was like, that was the best crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Like the theater was full
it was packed.
and like you could like hear a pin drop
Yes.
at moments.
Yes.
It was that
People were
quiet.
so intensely watching.
Yeah, the occasional like sniffle or something
Yeah.
because someone got emotional. Like it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, how many people were in here again?
The whole place is full.
Yeah, it was insane. But yeah, so this is definitely for a
Yes.
more mature
Yes. Definitely.
audience, just because of subject matter.
Yeah.
But yes, I highly recommend.
Yeah, I would too.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's all we have for this
Mm-hmm.
month. Sad I don't have any books, but that's okay. I did talk about a book. I talked about War with Crawdads thing. So
Yeah.
it counts.
Yeah, it does count.
Read the book. It was really good.
Yes.
All right. Well, we will see you at the end of this month
Mm-hmm.
for Traveling Soldier.
Yes.
And we'll see you in a whole month back for Book and Movie of the Month.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on, Blair.
All right.